All right, first and foremost, we give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the word enemy called Jesus Christ. All right, we about to do this debate part 2 with the Karaite Jewish rabbi, Brother Chief Priest Elazar ben Loya, the Guerrilla Hebrew,
Deacon Akai.
You know, and now we're just waiting on the rabbi. I hope y'all enjoyed last week, and I hope out of last week's dialogue, we're gonna pick it up right where we left off. Do a few more questions, not too many. We only got a few questions left. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, he's got some dissertation that he wants to get into. So if it's the will of the Most High, we're gonna do all that. So we're just waiting on the rabbi now.
And hold Deuteronomy 28.
Shalom, brothers. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You sideways though.
Oh,
sideways.
All right, let me fix that here. Hold on 1 second. All right. A little better?
Yes, sir. You straight up now.
Bear with me here. Let me get the earpiece here again.
Real quick. As for the audience, just want to make sure everybody can see that. Oh shit.
Okay.
Y'all see my man Kodak? Oh, y'all can't see it, but the hashtag Levite all there. Powerful. But yeah, so let's
yeah, how's we can go ahead and get right into it. You were a little late. Things happen. Why don't you go ahead and kind of do a mic test so we can hear you? Do you hear us?
It's cutting in and out, but I can hear you pretty good. Maybe we talk slow. I don't have good signal here where I'm at right now. I thought it was gonna be better than this, but I can understand you. Can you hear me okay?
Okay, we can hear you. We can hear you loud and clear. We can hear you loud and clear. Let's dig right into it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you a question on something that you mentioned last debate and something that we talked about earlier. And then from there, I'm gonna give it right to the Guerrilla Hebrew, aka Elazar ben Loya. And then he wants to finish the 20 minutes with his questions that he had.
And then we could get right into whatever you wanted to go into in your presentation, whatever you wanted to do.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna get right into it. You said what?
Set up.
I just want to make sure this is an actual debate this time, where we actually that's not what we agreed to on the phone. So,
no, yeah, I got the debate. I got the structure. That's fine. But let's you mentioned something about the Samaritans, that there's some Samaritan Israelites in Jerusalem or in Israel that have never been removed from the land for how many consecutive generations?
127 is what they have. They have a museum in Israel. So
127 generations. Somebody get a calculator real quick. And how many years is one generation?
Well, there's various opinions on that. Just depends on who you ask. Some people say 40. Some people say 70. Some people 40. Say 100. You know, I mean, you see random things. King David mentioned 70 years of a lifetime. 40 years wandering the desert. It just depends on who you ask, really.
Okay, so
scriptures too.
Let's just lowball it. Let's say 40 years. We're gonna do 40 years times 127 and see we have 5,080 years. So you're telling me that there's a group of Israelites that have been in the land of Israel for 5,000 years.
Well, again, I don't know what their determination of a generation is as far as the Samaritans. I never asked them that personally, what they think a generation is. So you'd have to ask them about that. I just know the museum's there. You can go look at it for yourself. Go visit it for yourself.
You do know that 5,000 years predates the existence of Israel.
Of course.
Okay, so that would have to be that I would have to call their bluff on that. I know.
Well, you could go there yourself and go do that in Israel if you want to do that in the museum and talk to them themselves. So
okay. Other than that, I'm gonna let the brother go into his questions. You got the scripture. Matter of fact, I'll read it.
wait, before we get into that thing, what exactly are we doing with these questions here? Because I don't want this to be, like I said, I don't want this to be like last time. This is not what we agreed to. This is not what we agreed to last week. So how many questions and what are we exactly doing? Because I want to make sure we're on point with this.
My question is, so you didn't agree to be asked questions last week? Because
No. There was a certain form of questions that we had listed on the thing, and we went off way off the page and went off dancing around different scriptures and this and that. We're all over the place. I don't want that to happen this time because I want it to be where we both get to. I mean, the whole reason I came here, I didn't came here to play games with the scripture. I came here to prove that we have always been the Israelites, and so I feel like this is just a distraction to just kind of bounce around. I just want to get to the facts, the evidence.
The thing is this: every question that we ask you is pertinent to your goal here. We didn't ask you any questions that were not pertinent to substantiating that you were Israelites. We were asking you the questions that are, coinciding with why we would call into question whether or not you guys were always Israelites. That's why we asked you the question.
Not really. Not when you're asking me what an Ashkenazi is and all this stuff, and asking me about Rockefeller and all this stuff. That's not
what
even
question do we ask you about Rockefeller?
Or one of those bankers, something like one of the questions you were asking last week. You do remember, right?
Again, the question. Anytime the bankers were brought up, it was pertinent. I'm just like, you believe in the Torah and Tanakh, right?
Yes.
So and I believe in the Torah and Tanakh. So when I go into Torah and Tanakh and I read about what was going to befall the nation of Israel, whoever's claiming to be the nation of Israel must fit the description of what Torah and Tanakh says. Agreed?
Right. With historical evidence, you got to prove it with historical evidence, not just quote a bunch of scriptures. You got to prove that you fulfilled that.
Hold on. Now, I didn't at any time try to prove anything. We presented these questions so you can have the opportunity to prove it, because you are on a crusade right now, and understandably, to substantiate that you guys were always the Israelites. So this is why we asked you the questions. I just want to make sure that is totally understood.
Okay, well, I mean, the answer that I'm trying to give you is the historical evidence from our enemies, who was anything but people that were favoring the Jewish people, to prove that we were removed from our land. That's what I'm trying to get to. And that's what I feel like you guys are just trying to dance around this, so I can't present that.
Nobody's trying to dance around anything. We just want to make sure that
I didn't mean that way. I'm just saying,
Okay. We just want to get our reasonable questions out the way. That's why he called me earlier and he informed me that you guys agreed on just 20 more minutes of questions, and then past that we can get into whatever you'd like to get into according to the format. Correct?
That's not correct, but if that's what you want to do, go for it. That's not what we agreed to, but
yeah. Well, I talked to you a few days ago. I said we wanted to just finish our few questions on Deuteronomy 28 and then get into the curriculum and regimen that we agreed on for this one.
But the last thing we spoke about today, though, was that you had questions that you're going to ask. We're going to get right into 20 minutes where you speak and say how we're not the real Jews and you are. Then I get to speak for 20 minutes, and so on and so forth.
Okay, well,
we're already starting off the page.
Look, here's I didn't have any understanding of that. So let me say this: when we left off last week, I was in the middle of a line of questions. So allow me to just finish this line of questions, and then we could get right into you laying it out. Is that fine?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, great.
Right.
Okay, so if you could, Deuteronomy 28, we're going to start back at 43.
All right, Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 43. The stranger that is within thee.
The stranger, the non-Israelite, right? I actually was able to catch some of your videos. So you was going into the ger, all right, or the stranger, the non-Israelite, right? Go ahead.
Shall get up above thee very high.
Shall get up above thee very high, read.
And thou shalt come down very low.
And thou shalt come down very low. A non-Israelite was going to be in that land over the Israelites, read.
he shall lend to thee,
He shall lend to thee. Read on.
and thou shalt not lend to him.
And this was the purpose of me bringing up any international banker, which of course I didn't name names, but it's not a secret. The fact that Jewish people are active in the banking industry and lending and things of that nature, right? Go ahead.
It says, he shall be the head, and thou shalt be the
He
tail.
shall be the head, and thou shalt be at the bottom. Read on.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon
Shall
thee,
come on thee. Read on.
and shall pursue thee,
Uh-huh.
and overtake
And
thee,
overtake thee. Read
till thou
on.
be destroyed,
Till thou be destroyed. Read on.
because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God,
Keep going.
to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And he shall be, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
See, and that's the key thing. It says these curses. The fact that the Jews were going to have somebody over them, that they were going to.
Okay, wait. So when you say a sign, what do you think a sign is? You tell me what a sign is in your theology.
Well, the sign is being clearly defined. I don't have to theologically interpret what's going on. The sign is.
So you take it literal.
I mean, that's what it says. Isn't that?
No, I know that, but I mean, well, we were for us the persecution over our people is something we always remember and commemorate and never forget. For us, it's a sign of things, of the persecution that we went through for many thousands of years. So, you know, by the way, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind reading out loud to all these people that are listening, verse 52 for me.
Well, we're going to actually get into the 50s here in a second, but we're here in 46 right now. So go ahead.
Okay.
It says, and they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder.
For a sign and for a wonder. Read on.
And upon thy seed forever.
And upon thy seed. This curse is on the seed of those that didn't listen unto the Most High. You confirmed last week that there are several so-called Jewish people or Jewish people who are not, who you regard as scum, correct?
Who I would not refer to as scum? What do you, like, righteous?
No, who you would refer to as scum, who are not righteous.
Of course, yeah. But here we don't take this as Jewish people. We think of this as the enemies of Israel. And we know this from history because we have the facts behind it, which I will get to.
So Deuteronomy 28 is talking about the enemies of Israel?
That will overcome, yeah, based on the curse that we disobey God.
No, I think I understand what you're saying. I'm not talking about the enemies of Israel. What I'm talking about in this aspect are if the Israelites are rebellious against Torah law, then these curses will come upon the Israelites, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So you bear witness to the fact that there are many Jewish people now who are rebellious to Torah law, who are scum, who are wretched. You see what I'm saying? So thus that would mean what? That they would be worthy of these curses affected and plaguing them. Yet these are the same people who are currently in the state of being in exact opposition of what the scripture said would happen to the Israelites if they were doing the same things that those men are doing.
Well, I mean, when you take it from that aspect and you read those verses, I mean, of course, you could take that apart and say that, but there is a problem. For example, we have a couple times in the scripture where it mentions several times that there would always be a righteous remnant among Israel who would be keeping the covenant throughout the generations. There would be no break in that covenant. And we know that as Judah. Now, you guys disagree. You believe this is some awakening, that all of Israel is awakening up, the real Israel awakening up. But that's contradictory to the Tanakh. I can only speak for the Hebrew scriptures. I can't speak for the New Testament. But as far as the Hebrew scriptures are concerned, over and over and over, it speaks about, like, we disagree on who the suffering servant is. You guys believe it's whatever name you call so-called Jesus or whatever. I know that's who you believe the suffering servant is. According to Tanakh, when you read it in context, which is the most important thing, reading in context, you see over and over and over, Israel is the suffering servant. Why is he called the suffering servant?
Pele.
Unlock the door.
What does that have to do with what I'm posing to you in Deuteronomy 28, 43 to 46?
Because
you're saying we could get into it, but that has nothing to do with what I'm saying. I'm not disputing whether or not there has always been a righteous remnant of Israelites that have always kept the covenant. I'm saying that if the Israelites are rebellious, then curses come upon them as it is written in Torah. So that's all I'm asking. So you agree and you admit that there are a great deal of Jewish people that are rebellious, that are scum, and that are wretched, and that are sinning, right? So if that's the case, then they should be plagued by the curses of Deuteronomy 28. And I'm merely asking you why we cannot observe this occurring.
Well, for one thing, this occurred, for example, after Babylon, when Babylon took over Israel. And then what I'm trying to get into, 70 CE, the war in Jerusalem where the temple was destroyed, exactly shows what happened. Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, no. And I understand that, but again, read 46 again, please. There's a key thing there. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy 28 and 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
Forever. This is not just something that happened one time. This happened forever. If the Israelites rebelled, they would be with this.
Okay.
See? So go ahead.
Because
what I'm trying to say. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Say your point. My fault.
No. Go ahead. Finish.
All right. Go ahead.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things.
Right. So if you're not serving the Lord with joyfulness and gladness of heart, which you admit there's a great deal of Jewish people that aren't, then they would have to be dealing with these afflictions. If you could give me this real quick. You got it? Okay. This is something I want to read. It's a theologian's commentary. His name is John Gill. And I just want to, he's got some insight as well on this. He says, and upon thy seed forever. He said, this shows that these curses said to be upon them not only refer to those that came upon them at the time of the Babylonian captivity, but to those that came upon them at their destruction by the Romans, like you just said, and which have continued on them 1900 years, and how much longer they will continue, none can say. It will be their case until new heavens and new earth are created, or there will be a new state of things, or at least with them, when they shall be converted to the Lord and all Israel saved. And it may be observed that the 10 tribes carried away from a captive never return. So, I mean, it's not just us that's saying this. I mean, it's pretty evident that this forever being upon them means anytime the Israelites were in a rebellious state, that they would be afflicted and plagued with these curses. But go ahead.
Well, I believe is that a Christian scholar you're reading from, or is that?
Yeah, I believe he's a Christian scholar.
That's why he said it's turned to be saved, meaning believe in Christ. But that's not what our scripture says is supposed to happen.
I mean, the point is not being believed in Christ. The point is when it says "be upon you forever" means forever. I
mean, I'm just saying. I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to bring up that. I'm just saying that his opinion is based on a Christian theology or Christian Bible-based theology. We don't agree with that because, I mean, for us, we're not living in a wonderful time right now. We're blessed to be in the land. But there's a lot of problems right now. Arabs, blowing us up, and Palestinians, all kinds of stuff is going on. The whole world hates us. Everybody hates the Jews. I mean,
do you guys blow Palestinians up too? Do you blow any Palestinians up?
Well, the armies, they defend themselves, but you don't hear, newspapers that then going over there just to blow them up on purpose. You don't find any religious Jews in any newspaper or anything that's going out blowing up Palestinians. Now, some people will
say that he wanted to increase the death toll in Palestine.
Is he a religious Jew?
I mean, I guess I would have to ask you that. I thought so. If I'm mistaken, could you correct me?
No, he's not at all. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, he's not.
So he would be a scumbag Jew. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that's great. I can agree there. But with that being said, it brings me back to my point. Why is it that there's not a stranger that's up above Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel that he has to lend to, that's more powerful than him? And why is he the most powerful man in Israel?
Well, if you look at Israel, I mean, let's be real here. If you look at Israel, there's nothing so powerful about Israel. All the nations that are surrounding Israel, I mean, let's be real here. I mean, really real. I mean, I know you hate the Jewish people, you hate the surrounding, but there's nobody, only somebody ignorant can look at the state of Israel and see all the surrounding countries that are plotting their destruction, our destruction every day. United Nations as well. They're not on our side. everybody's plotting the destruction of Israel every day. Everybody's hoping for it, wishing for it. I mean, I don't see such control. I see very few siding with Israel, and that's exactly what the scripture talks about. That we're going to be the
is America one of the few?
It depends on who you ask, I guess, because I don't look into leaders myself. I just look to scripture, and so as far as me, I don't support Donald Trump or anything like that. So
I can understand that, but what I also can say is that America gives more money to Israel than it does to the ghettos of America every year. I could definitely say that for some.
I can agree with that, and I don't think that's right at all.
Okay, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. We can move on. That way we don't get sick, because I want to make sure we don't waste any more time.
No, I respect your questions. I do. I think it's disgusting that our president, well, I don't call him our president, but some people do. But I mean, he's a disgrace because he claimed he was going to help people of this place impoverished and stuff. And he's not doing that. So it's disgusting to me.
Yeah, definitely. That's great.
Okay,
let's go to 54.
Deuteronomy 28:54. It says, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother.
Read on.
And toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
He shall leave his children. So there was going to be turmoil within the Israelite society, brother to brother, brother towards his wife, and brothers were going to abandon their children. Now, can we attest to this being a problem that plagues Jewish families now?
Now, at this moment, no, I couldn't say that at this point. I can only speak for past events that I'll go into later. But
okay, all right, that's fine. And then if
I mean, things could get worse. Things could get worse in Israel among all our Jewish brothers, whether Ethiopian or whoever, and we don't know what that can bring about. I mean, we're not prophets or anything, but it doesn't look good so far. We're hoping for the Messianic age, for things to get better for all the world, not just us.
Okay, that's great. All right. Let's go to 64.
Okay, Deuteronomy 28:64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even to the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
So in your initial video, I believe that you made a statement about the fact that you guys would rather get your heads cut off in Europe than to bow to the European gods, right? But according to the curses, that was supposed to happen, that you would be forced into serving these other gods, wood and stone, through a part of the diaspora throughout the four corners of the earth. So it seems as if what your account of the history is contrary to that. So if you could expound on that.
Sure. When I'm speaking about different places of the earth where they'll be scattered, we know that many of Israel, did fall into idolatry, whether in the Babylon captivity, which you guys are very well aware of, Babylon and the gods over there. After the year 70, they were scattered all over the place too. We know a lot of our brothers and sisters, whether in Ethiopia or Africa or other places in Russia, they ended up, a lot of them ended up suffering and, willing to, worship. I know you guys don't worship Yeshua, but they were willing to, go to service idols and other things, and instead of being, loyal to God himself, which the righteous remnant, that's my plea that I'll try to bring out later, is that the righteous remnant, only those who are the righteous remnant were willing to not turn against the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to serve these other gods. So those are the ones who are willing to get their throat sliced. But the majority, yes, they did turn to idolatry and Christianity. We have many sects like Jews for Judaism, or Jews for Jesus, and other stuff like that, and Buddhists who are still worshiping idols to this day. Anyways, I don't go on a rant, but
okay. Do we know the Jews? Do we know what Jewish people went into idolatry? Can we identify them in any group right now, or no? If not, that's fine.
Jews in idolatry at this time?
Yeah, like
yes.
not like Like, because I know you got, like you mentioned, the Jews for Jesus, right?
Yeah, they're
We
openly
know about them.
idolatrous.
But like any ones that like got scattered anywhere that just chose an idol over the Most High.
I can't really mention names, but I know we know of groups that did do that. I can get those maybe the next time we speak. There are definitely some groups that did.
Okay, definitely. All right. Also,
Yeah, it says that you will be scattered from one end of the earth to the other, and would you say that there's Jews in all places around the earth?
Oh, absolutely. We believe that a lot of them have returned and still are returning, but there are still Jews that are still on the process of coming. We hope soon.
you know what? Just with that, just a question hit my mind. Do you think it's any possibility that maybe a fraction or part of some of the victims of the transatlantic slave trade are in fact Jews?
Oh, absolutely. We have no doubts about it. Like as a whole, the Jewish people, like us, and I'm just talking about religious Israel. I'm not talking about the rats. I'm talking about real religious Israel. No, we have no doubts about that. We believe in the evidence of DNA. Many of our brothers from Africa, I actually study with a group who are unable to even afford Tanakhs. We send them Tanakhs in Uganda, and they have the bloodline. They're mixed in with the Israelite people, and so I don't want to go on and on because I know that your time's limited.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted to ask you that way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We just don't believe that they're. I'm only defending just one. I just want to make this very clear. I am only defending Judah. That's it. I'm not denying anyone of color or any whoever. I'm just defending my ancestors, our tribe, and how we've always been here. As far as other people being part of Israel, I have no problem with any of that, and I have no denying that people of color are also part of Israel.
Okay. All right. Great. Okay.
Yeah, well, my question was, it says when the Lord shall scatter thee, meaning he's going to force the Israelites to be scattered, not like taking a plane and moving to these places. Would you say you guys were forcefully scattered, or you guys migrated upon your own will?
Well, the historical documents like the stuff that I'm going to present tonight show that we were forced to leave through ships and also through other means. A lot of us died on the way there, and it's a mixed multitude of, like I mentioned, Jews of different colors, as well as us as well. It definitely was no migration type thing. This stuff happened during Europe to get away from different parts of Europe, because we were persecuted all through the whole Europe captivity. I know that you believe it's like our dreamland or something like that, but it was a nightmare for us. I'll go into that later. We were migrating to get away from our enemies and stuff. So,
okay,
crusades and stuff.
Okay, all right. Okay, I got literally 2 more questions. That's fine.
Sure.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Isaiah 3:16. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter.
Go ahead. Call it.
Isaiah chapter 3, verse 16.
Read on.
Moreover, the Lord saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty.
So the Israelite women are haughty. They're haughtiness. Read.
And walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes.
Read.
Walking and mincing as they go, and making a tingling with their feet.
Read on.
Therefore the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion.
So here we see that a curse that was coming upon the daughters of Zion as a result of their haughty behavior would be that their crown would be smitten. Their hair would be smitten with a scab that would, basically retard the growth of the hair. It'll expound later on as well. It says instead of well set hair, baldness. Right now, I wanna understand when and where and how are Jewish women affected by this curse or plague.
We mean like nowadays or back in the a long time ago?
When did how can we see that this plague affected Jewish women?
Well, like I said, our beliefs are that Jewish people come in all colors. We do believe that. I don't know if you guys know that. We do. as far as this particular verse that you're reading in general, I can't point to anything specifically, especially today, because we're not dealing with that kind of thing right now. In the ancient world, I can go into more things. There's a lot of information out there. That's what I wanted to let the viewers know, is that I'd like to be able to present them with the link so they can look up all the information, because it's just so much information of what was going on, during, especially after the year 70. It's just so much going on with shipping Israelites of all Israel and different parts of Israel all over the place, Egypt and other things. So honestly, I couldn't say on this part in particular, but I do have counter verses to, if it's a racial thing you're trying to pull, say here with this.
I mean, that's all. I'm just asking, as it, like any Jewish women that I'm familiar with, they usually don't have a problem with growing hair. That's the only reason I bring that up. Final question, right here in Isaiah 42 and 22. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 42, verse 22.
Read.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes and are hid in prison houses.
So they're all snared in holes and hid in prison houses. Now, this is a little bit of information I want to bring out via the Chabad Institute. It says maximum security prisons in the United States have relatively few Jewish inmates, according to the Aleph Institute, a Chabad-affiliated organization that reaches out to Jews behind bars. So there are over 2 million people in U.S. jails. Very minuscule and small percentage of these individuals are actually Jewish, yet prison houses is one of the key curses that will come upon the rebellious Israelites. Why can we not observe Jewish people in jail?
Well, again, this based on the context of these, especially Isaiah, from chapter 41 to the end of Isaiah, we believe this to be during the beginning of the Messianic age. That's what we determine based on the context of the entire scripture. If we read many, chapters, it talks about during this time. I don't know if you want me to expound on that, I can, but I agree with you as far as the prison inmates, stuff like that. I think it's disgusting that there are so many people that are, a lot of them falsely accused, that are in prison, stuff like that. But like I said, based on context of Isaiah in general, because we read the whole books in context, that's where we differ on certain things. But I could see how you could see this as a fulfillment of that. But
okay, so like so to get your understanding fully on the Messianic age, you believe that we're approaching it, or maybe we are approaching it, but it's something that'll occur in the future. And when that occurs, this is when we'll start to see many of these latter prophecies in the book of Isaiah unfold.
Yes, to all our brothers and sisters, whether us, our brothers from Ethiopia, in Africa, all those who are keeping loyal, who might as well be you guys too, who are keeping loyal to God. And for example, Islam, if it starts taking over America, they might, make, I'm just throwing something out there because it seems like, Europe's turning into a nightmare. You agree with that? At least Europe's turning into like really bad. And now they're kind of painting is.
I've heard about this stuff with the Syrian refugees and various stuff pouring in there and whatnot.
Yeah, they're like painting it like it's it's, you can't even talk against it, and they're even in. I'm sure you guys are basically in the area of San Diego. You heard that they're even putting it into the schools now to try to teach the children that Islam is okay and to celebrate the days and learn about Islam. It's slowly slipping into America as well as slipping other places too. So we feel like in the end of days, it speaks about it. For us, Edom represents these enemies of Israel who are plotted out to wipe out all Jewish people and all people who are against their faith as well in general.
So that would be like the neighbors of Israel, Palestine, Egypt, Syria, Iran.
And those were flooding, Europe, and if you look at Italy and all these places, all you have to do is just go on YouTube. You see like thousands of videos of this nightmare stuff that's happening in Europe, and now it's coming to the United States, and all the liberals are basically like kissing their rear ends, saying, like marching for them. And they even have a Muslim protester claiming she's a feminist, wanting to bring Sharia law, which is anything but feminist. We see it as it's going to get worse and worse and worse as time goes by, and then the Messianic age will come. I'll get into that later if you want. I don't want to keep going with it, but
Okay. I would say that would be it. You had something? Oh, okay. We just, matter of fact, one of the brothers here, he wanted to play a clip from your video real quick, because he believed it was contrary to something you said. So we just want to get clarification on it, and then we turn it right over.
what is contrary?
What exactly is the clip? If you could expound out.
About them not practicing idolatry or falling off the wood and stone.
Okay, about Deuteronomy 28:64,
Because he was saying,
idolatry.
He's saying that they just saying, oh, we want to be the Jews because they didn't want to go through 3 Holocausts, denying Christianity and rathering to die.
Okay.
He wasn't talking about just the righteous ones. He talking about the nation.
The nation of Jews. Okay, let's play the soundbite real quick, and we get clarification. Go ahead.
Turn it.
Sword to our throat, slash our throats, just kill us. We'd rather die than follow your idolatry or your demigod or your pagan nonsense. We follow the true God of Israel. We were willing to die for that throughout the Middle Ages.
So throughout.
Something.
Well, the righteous remnant, like I said before, it's the righteous remnant, those who are willing to die to keep the covenant of our Creator. Not all Jews in general. I don't know where he's going with that one, but what is the assumption based on that clip?
I mean, from if just for me hearing it, that was the first time I've heard it, right? So if I would have heard it, I would have assumed that you were talking about the Jewish populace that existed in Europe during the Middle Ages in general, as opposed to just a remnant of them.
Oh,
Because from what I understand,
I see.
that you guys were living very separately and segmented from the rest of European society. Would you have?
Because what he followed with was you said that we would not be willing to do that.
Yeah, you said that we weren't willing to do that.
Oh, I see.
And that we
Yeah,
all
no.
basically-
I think I need to be more technical next time. I meant to say righteousness.
The righteous one.
Can I
Yeah,
clear-
that's good. Yeah, he's basically.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it okay if I speak a little more about it?
Oh, go ahead.
Because we know that there are like some of our biggest enemies at that time in the Middle Ages were Jews. Like we had of our people that were like, for example, in the Middle Ages, they would rat us out and say, because the Europeans there, they didn't understand Hebrew and stuff. So I'm a Karaite. Kara is the ancient Hebrew for basically scripturalists. We only follow the Hebrew scriptures. We do not follow Talmud at all. But in that time, we had Jews that were like basically cowards and joined the church in a general sense, the Catholic Church, and would rat the Jews out and say, well, you need to look through their Talmuds because they're trashing the Lord, the Savior, and they're saying this and that. So we have like these traitor Jews that would join. That's why we see like they call them Jesuits. You heard the term Jesuits?
Okay, so you basically said like you had sellout. You had
Yeah.
sellout.
Yep. Many
people that was turning on their own and getting in bed. Like, have you ever heard of the term? I'm sure you've heard of the term crypto Jew before.
Yeah. Like the Pope, I believe he's Jewish. I heard that right now.
Yeah, like he's
today.
basically paraded
Yeah,
like a Catholic, but he's in actuality Jewish. You have
Yeah,
that. One more. Go ahead, play that real quick.
Pagan nonsense. We follow the true God of Israel. We were willing to die for that throughout the Middle Ages. Something you all would never do in a million years. Never. Not one of you Hebrew Israelites, whether loudmouths or quiet in the closet Hebrew Israelites. None of you would die for this belief.
Now, granted, that's a very bold statement to make, that none of us would die for our belief. You know that people have died for this belief. Are you familiar with that?
I am not. No. Like, can you
The
point out?
founder of the original at 1 West 125th Street, Abba Bivens, was murdered by Muslims. You talk all this Muslim stuff. He was murdered by Muslims for preaching out of the scriptures. So
Can you?
and he wasn't the first.
Okay, I'll have to say that in that video, sometimes I get a little intense in my videos, and I if you could send me the source to that, I'd like to check that out and see. Yeah, and I would say, you get intense sometimes. You say certain things. You mean if I could quote many things that were said about my people in general sense, I could make hundreds of videos of stuff that you guys have been saying about my people that are just completely false. I could point them out, but I think I went a little too far on that video. I can admit that. It's just you got to understand how.
I don't know if
it's just to me, it's just so offensive, the things that are said about us when we believe based on the evidence and based on our history that we suffered through so much to try to keep the covenant, and we love our brothers and sisters of all colors, and to see people talking about us in general like that, like we're wicked and we're trying to hide something from people of color and stuff like that, just makes us sick, because we have rabbis that are of dark skin tones, brown skin tones, anything you name. We have, and they're equal, if not greater sometimes. So we just don't see any point. I mean, we just don't agree with your analysis of our beliefs and stuff. So.
Okay, all right, that's good.
Okay, we talked for a minute about 1948 a few days ago, and do you still stand by that Jeremiah 16 is a fulfillment of 1948?
Well, again, what I was quoting last time was there was like several passages that were basically showing different fulfillments, and it was like a calculation type thing, calculating when they would return and stuff like that. But I don't hold to that. But there are, many passages that I agree were fulfilled after, during and after 1948.
You said what?
So you're not standing on Jeremiah 16 anymore.
Well, I mean, it's based on a calculation of when they would return, and I have to quote a bunch of different scriptures to do the calculation. So, in general, no, I would say no. But I have many others that I can quote to prove this.
So let me give you a chance to go into where the 1948 prophecy was fulfilled in the Bible. Let's give you the floor, and let's let you do that.
Go ahead.
Okay, you want just briefly just quote some scriptures? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, quote some.
Okay.
Give a little bit, because I know last week, I know like
it was kind of windy.
Yeah, and also that I know that was like what you had mainly gathered information for. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead.
Okay, so we did talk about the land not growing for people that are not of Israel that were in the land. For example, like our claim that I want to bring the evidence for is that we were removed from the land in the year 70, and we didn't return until 1948, which was close to 2,000 years later. So it says in the Torah, for example, in Leviticus chapter 26, verses 32 through 33, it says very clearly, you want to open up that real quick? Speaks about the land not giving forth its produce and fruit. Are you guys going into the scripture or not?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. My apologies.
I don't know what you're laughing about, because I'm about to show you something that is happening right now before your eyes. All right, here we go. 26 verses 32 through 33. Okay. I will make the land desolate, so that your enemies who settle in it shall be appalled by it. And I will scatter among the nations, and I will unsheathe the sword against you. Your land shall become a desolate, and your cities in ruin. And we have testimony to this when we were out of the land also as well. But it also says, for example, in Ezekiel chapter 36, verses 8 through 11, that he would reestablish the land to give forth its produce when we return to the land. And that's exactly what happened as soon as we entered the land. Right now it's like the most thriving land ever. It's giving forth even trees, and speaks about forests and stuff like that. We got cedar trees, we got fruits. It's very productive. And I don't take that as just a chance accident. It's just too coincidental to me.
Are there, now here's a question I have. Are there any testimonies that are contrary to that speak about the abundance of that land, or not even necessarily the abundance of that land, but the fertility of that land in the absence of the Jewish people?
Like testimony to show that it was desolate and waste? Is that what you're saying?
Not desolate. I'm talking about, was it fertile?
Not that I know of. The testimony that I'll present from people, different sources, say the opposite. So
now,
if you have something, go for it.
I watched a video of yours earlier today, and you brought out a Mark Twain testimony. And Mark Twain said that it was a very fertile land. It was just nobody there to plant it and fertilize it.
That's not what he said.
I mean, you read it on the video that you said Sakari debunked.
I did not read that.
Okay, well, what Mark Twain quote did you read? Could you please pull it up, if I'm mistaken?
Yeah. I'm getting it right now. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's see. All right, here we go. Mark Twain, 1867. That's exactly what I read. We traversed some miles of desolate country whose soil is rich enough, but is given wholly to weeds. A silent, mournful expanse.
Rich soil. That was my point, that the soil is rich. So it's just because nobody was there, so weeds were growing. But if anybody was there, they could have easily begun to grow it and it be productive, according to Mark Twain, nearly 100 years before the Jewish people went back to the land.
Well, if people were able to produce it, why didn't they? Palestine been there the whole time, and other nations as well. And there's testimony that they couldn't do nothing with it either. They couldn't even find successor. They didn't have they didn't, make the land blossom or anything. What was the problem with them?
Let me ask you a question, right? Are Arab people known to be nomadic?
Like, in what sense do you mean, though?
Like they
Like,
they move around a lot, right? Being nomadism is something that's affluent amongst Arabic people, right or wrong?
I'll say right, yeah.
Okay, so my thing is, if they weren't able to produce anything and that land wasn't fruitful or good for them, why wouldn't they just move around? Why did they stay there?
You'd have to ask them. I don't know. Palestinians too. I mean, sure, they had marketplaces and things like that, getting food from other places, but the land of Israel, there's all the testimonies that we have show that they couldn't grow nothing. Diddly squat until we returned.
According to Mark Twain, it was fertile, but for whatever reason, they just couldn't grow anything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's more testimony. I mean, I could read more if you want.
I mean,
from other people too.
I mean, I was just wanted to ask about the Mark Twain because it just seemed like it was kind of contrary to the other testimonies you were bringing out. But we understand.
Which other testimonies?
You said what? What did you say right now?
Which other testimonies are you talking about?
Whatever other testimonies that you were referencing to talk about the desolation and the lack of produce in the land.
Oh, okay.
What are we?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But you guys, wait. But you guys said, what do you guys believe the fruitful land? You told me the last time that you believe it's the people becoming blossoming in the land. That's what you said, right?
Well,
do you still?
The land will also become fruitful. I know people who were just recently in Israel, and it was they said there was definitely produce being produced there, but those same people are from the Caribbean, so they say, according to them and their testimony, the Caribbean is more fruitful than Israel is right now.
I don't know where you're going with that, but I mean, Israel
you-
was never
you
a
asked,
paradise,
so that's
not an
all I was
island.
saying.
So.
From what I know about,
I'm not saying it's going to be the best, like the most fruitful of all lands, but it's definitely going to give forth its produce. I mean, if you look at the statistics, just look at what's going on in Israel. You could find that out in 10 minutes. Find out what's going on as far as produce and stuff.
That's what I'm saying. The individuals that I know that went to Israel said that there was produce and that they were able to see fruit trees and things and go and pick and eat there. But what I'm saying is, compared to the island that they come from, it wasn't more, fruitful than that. But there was produce for sure. We're not denying that. There's definitely a fruit that's sprouting up in that land that may not have been there, let's say, 100, 200 years ago.
Okay. Anything else?
Go ahead with your presentation.
Well, I had a question for you. I was wondering if you guys wouldn't mind reading verse 52 of Deuteronomy 28 for the people.
You can do that for sure.
I can do that for you, but I want you to know I'm still waiting on a prophecy that's a fulfillment of 1948.
Okay, well, still, I'd like you to read this so they can hear it for themselves. Because bottom line, just real quick before you read, I will get into that. But you guys believe that verse 68 in particular, do you guys, like most Hebrew Israelites, believe that that is the transatlantic trade, slave trade?
Emphatically.
Okay. Now, this is all one chapter. We agree, right? The whole chapter discusses many things. In verse 52, it tells you, God tells you where you are going to be removed from. So why don't you read it for the people so they can hear?
You want 52 or you want 68?
Chapter 28, verse 52.
Okay,
All
go
right.
ahead.
Deuteronomy 28 and 52. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trusted throughout all thy land, and he shall beseech thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which the Lord God hath given thee.
And what land is that he gave us?
Israel.
Exactly. So you actually missed a part there in the beginning of verse 52. It says, it shall shut you up in the town throughout your land until every mighty towering wall which you trust in come down. And when you are shut up in all the towns throughout your land that the Lord your God has assigned you. So you guys just said that was Israel. That's why I wanted you to read it.
Yeah.
Because if you're saying that this whole thing deals with the removal from Africa going to America, which you say is Egypt, this verse right here is a big problem. I don't know if you guys disagree with that, but it's pretty clear.
It's not. Here's why I would say it's not a big problem, so I can give you a little bit of understanding.
49.
No, well, let's go for 49. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy 28 and 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Is that the Romans?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
But hold on now. Was there a lingua franca established between the Romans and the Jews?
What do you mean lingua franca? What does that mean?
You don't know what the term lingua franca is?
No, I don't.
A language that's established between two different nations or a multiplicity of nations, so you can have a understanding. I.e., in the aviation field, it would be English.
The Romans' language has nothing to do with Hebrew. I don't know what you're comparing that to.
Lingua franca. There's something called a lingua franca. The Romans spoke Latin, right? The Hebrews spoke Hebrew, right? But there was the the Syriac language, or the what's the other name for that damn language? The Aramaic. The Aramaic language was the lingua franca of the region for the time, that way everybody understood each other based upon Aramaic. This is a fact.
Okay.
So with that
Okay.
being said, how is it that they didn't understand when there was literally a language in place so the two peoples and other peoples as well could come into this area, into the Levant, and understand one another?
And we not only that, we were subjugated to them before 70 AD. Subjugated to the Romans for some time, many years. We didn't understand that. We didn't understand that language.
Well, where is Rome? Where is Rome located? Is it not in Europe?
But it's not the end of the earth.
Yeah, how did Rome come from the ends of the earth?
They came right from above.
Well, understanding based on swept from afar like an eagle, you know, it was swift the way they took over Israel. That's what I'm talking about. Again,
Okay. But
we did not speak. We did not.
Is what we're asking about. We understand the swiftness, the way they came in and pounced. Nobody disagrees with that. And also, here's what you also have to understand. Dealing with the expulsion of 70 AD, us believing that we are the Israelites, we have no problem with that occurring in 70 AD. And that's the fulfillment of that. There's no issue there because we believe that happened to us and got us out of our land in 70 AD. So that's not like a brick wall.
And where do you come up with that conclusion that it's that? So what you're saying is that it was you and only you that were taken by the Romans, taken to Egypt, and eventually ended up in Europe. Is that what you're telling me? And then somehow ended up in Africa and then brought to America? Is that what you're really telling me?
Yeah, most definitely. Is that far-fetched? Is that far-fetched for you to grasp?
Based on the historical sources, yes. It's a big problem.
Okay. Now, the primary
it wasn't just Rome that came to get us, by the way.
Of course not. And according to the historical sources that you attest is prime above all else, and that we agree is prime above all else, is Torah and Tanakh. And according to all the questions that we've asked you in regards to Torah and Tanakh, you have neglected to bring one shred of substantial evidence to prove that you are those people historically. Every question that we've asked you points away from you and towards us. Right. And you haven't been able to answer that question in any way that would make us think or make any logical person come to any outside conclusion. You made this outrageous claim. You were on a YouTube page.
Hold on, wait a minute. No. I just showed you in verse 52 that it was removal from the land of Israel. That's what the focus is on this. That's what the focus of this channel is all about.
You showed us 70 AD, which we all know about. You didn't show us that you were there in 70 AD. You showed us 70 AD. Show me you in 70 AD.
You want me to read the testimonies? How the Jews were removed from the land? We were the ones removed from the land?
It says that you were moved.
I have provided the evidence. You're saying I didn't. I did provide the evidence, and I plan to bring more.
What? Okay, well, please bring more.
Okay. Well, you keep going dancing around these questions here. Let's do it right now.
What? Hold on. You're telling us that we're dancing around questions. You have told us how many times since we started talking to you that you don't know, that you can't give us an answer. But we're dancing around questions?
Because you're playing games with scripture.
As a reasonable human being, that we're dancing around questions, but your answer that every time we show you the Bible, you go, I don't know, maybe. Oh, it's gonna happen. Oh, it's progressive. That's your answer.
That's not happening today. I'm not backing down from any of your questions tonight. Okay. Tonight's not last week. Last week, you might have pulled that stuff. You're not going to pull it this week. If you let me speak, I will show you right now that you're not.
You've had a whole week to go down and sit down and figure it out, and you still have yet to present any answer from any of the questions from last week.
If you will let me speak, I will do that. You just run in your mouth. Why don't you let me speak then?
Go ahead. Oh, now I'm just running my damn mouth. You just told me I was.
You want me to present the evidence or not? You want me to present the evidence or not?
But now I'm just running my mouth. All you have ever done since your first damn video on YouTube is run your goddamn mouth. Okay?
Excuse me. I present the. No. You see this guy? I'm
Shut your goddamn pale ass up. A goddamn devil who stole my identity will not disrespect me on my damn platform.
Right.
That will never happen. You are not a Jew. You will never be a goddamn Jew. All you are is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks of. Give me Jeremiah 16 and 19.
That's right.
Show these goddamn white boys some act right. Read. Jeremiah 16, 19. O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge. Read. In the day of affliction. In the day of affliction, our refuge. When we getting killed, when we in the jail, when our women can't grow no damn hair, and the East Indian and Korean is making billions off of our damn women.
Right.
When we can't get it together, when we destroy, when the stranger above us is high, when we having turmoil in our households, everything that you've never been is everything the Jews said they would be. Our refuge is the Most High God Yahweh, not Yahweh, not Yahuwah, not none of that garbage. You damn devil. Read. Shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth. From the ends of the earth. He shall come at us and read on. From the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our... And this is what you're going to say. And this is what your kids is going to tell us. What are they going to say? Surely our fathers have inherited lies. Surely, Pele, you have inherited a lie along with every other Jewish goddamn bastard in the world. You have inherited a lie. Right. You are not the Jew. You have never been a Jew. Right. The Jews are God's chosen people. All right? The most beautiful people on the earth. You are the most hideous, ugliest, and untalented, conniving snakes on the goddamn planet. And you're going to purport that you're a Jew, that you're God's chosen? The audacity of your damn devils, man. You ugly piece of goddamn garbage. Ain't got one good-looking girl to boast about. Ain't got one talented man on the planet Earth. Can't beat nobody in a one-on-one goddamn fight. And you're going to tell me you are the chosen people of God? That's a blasphemy. Finish that. That was it on that. And things when there is no prophet. And things when there's no prophet. In the Karaite Jew, there is no goddamn prophet. There is no prophet in that. All right? White boy, do you understand that? Now let's see what, hold on. Now let's see what he got to say. Go ahead. Respond. You got something to say? Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, white boy. What do you got to say? Unmute yourself, man. Come on. What do you got to say? Huh? You're muted. We can't hear you. You got to unmute yourself. No, I can't hear you still. He said you muted him. No, but look, you can unmute yourself. I can't unmute you. You got to unmute yourself. I did mute you initially. Now you have to unmute yourself. Click the microphone. I can't unmute you. Click the microphone at the top.
Can you hear me now or no?
There you go.
Go ahead, Pele. Talk to us.
Can you see me on there?
No, we can't see you. We can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead. You can speak.
All right. So I don't even know where to begin now. What are we talking about now? You went on that big rant, screaming and yelling, and not letting me speak. But yet you're asking me the questions. So you don't want me to speak. You're trying to show off in front of your guests. I understand what you're trying to do, but again, I'm not going to do that and stoop to that. I'm going to just present the evidence if you let me.
Okay, I want you to present to me Ezekiel 7, verse 11 through 13.
I thought I was going to present the evidence. Again, you're not letting me present my case.
You're not presenting Bible. You're not presenting Bible. You're presenting,
you just told me to prove that we were removed from the land.
No, I said prove 1948.
We know.
First,
everybody knows the Jews.
You just said. Everybody you just went on about the year 70.
Me that it was your ancestors. Are you
just talked about the year 70, and now you're dancing to 1948.
Listen,
so what do you want to deal with?
Everybody knows the Jews were removed in 70. I need to.
But I'm trying to prove that it was us. I'm trying to prove that, but you won't let me do that.
Go ahead.
Are you going to let me finish now?
Go ahead, man.
Okay. You can't just quote 50,000 verses and not provide the evidence. You can't provide this historical evidence that it was you that was removed.
The Bible isn't good enough. All right.
I never said that. You saying that because you were showing off in front of your members. It's not going to impress me. I can show you many Bible verses that proves that many problems with your theology. For one of your followers made a video saying that.
Hey, Pele, you keep telling me how many verses you can quote, and you're not quoting them, man. Proof is in the pudding. Go ahead, go to work. If I'm wrong, prove it.
59, Isaiah 59, verse 20. You guys claim that the Messiah is supposed to bring everybody to Israel. You're supposed to wait on the Messiah. But what does the prophet say?
No. How does that prove you're an Israelite?
I'm trying to show you that what we believe is supposed to happen is exactly what the scripture talks about. What you believe is not based on the scripture.
Here's the question I got. You told me
go ahead.
That everything past Isaiah 41 is something that's going to come to pass in the Messianic age unto the end. Isaiah 59 is after 41. Therefore, you cannot go to Isaiah 59 and provide me evidence of anything because it remains to be seen because according to you, it hasn't come to pass to happen yet. So you're going to have to go back to the drawing board. Try again.
What if it deals with the Messiah? You don't want to go there?
It hasn't happened. You told me you was going to provide me with proof of something. You believe something is going to happen versus having proof that something has happened. Therefore, you cannot use that as proof that you're a Jew.
Do you want me to state as far as what exactly you want to deal with right now? Because you guys just went.
I need you to prove that you're a Jew.
Prove that I'm a Jew. Okay.
Because in the wait, hold on, wait. In the words of the great Khalid Abdul Muhammad, you're not even a real Jew, buddy.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, keep telling yourself that.
Hey, you know what? And that's the exact comment. You see the pride of the damn devil, the white man of the Edomite according to the Bible. Yeah, keep telling yourself that.
Yeah, keep quoting your pagan Bible. Keep quoting the pagan Greek scriptures for your beliefs, which has nothing to do with Hebrew.
When have I quoted what you deem the pagan
Where did
Greek
you get
scriptures at any point
the devil?
In any
the devil?
with you? I dealt with Torah and Tanakh. We have dealt with Torah and Tanakh this whole time, and you ain't been able to answer that.
You just called me the devil. You just called me the devil. Is that in the Tanakh?
Yes, it is.
One verse. No. The word.
Now we're going to Leviticus 17, and then we're going to go into the word for devil there, and then we're going to prove that you are the devil that the Bible speaks of. Give me that 17, and I believe the 7th verse.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead. Leviticus is the word devil in the Torah and Tanakh. Let's read. Go ahead.
Leviticus chapter 17, verse 7. And they shall no more offer their sacrifices unto devils.
Unto who?
Devils.
You know what devil we had to sacrifice? A white man, just like you, from Europe, who was a crypto Jew, whose name was Caesar Borgia. That's a devil we had to sacrifice to. It says we shall no more sacrifice unto devils. The word for devil there is the word seer, or shayar in the Hebrew. All right, which means hairy, which is the capital of Edom, where your red devil ass come from. Okay, so you are the devil according to the Torah.
That's right.
All right. Try again.
You're Edomite.
You're a damn devil. Esau. All right. If I slap the hell out you, what color you gonna be? All right then.
He's red now.
Hey, look, you got all in paper. Why don't you read something off of there that's gonna help you, man? Please. Unmute yourself, man. Come on, go ahead, man. Go to work, Pele. Hey, bring the dagger. Bring the dagger, Pele.
You got. Unmute yourself.
Unmute, man.
Unmute yourself again.
I had to shut you off so I could read the Bible, man. Now you good, man. Go ahead, man. Say something.
Unmute yourself.
Unmute, man. Come on, dude.
Unmute.
All right? Don't let these high school dropouts be smarter than you, man. Unmute yourself. Come on, man.
Yeah, you mute me and then you tell me I muted myself.
No, I'm telling you to
wonder why. I wonder why. I'm glad that all these people are watching this and seeing what you guys are doing. I'm glad that they're watching. I'm glad they're watching. You will not let me present anything. You want me to prove that we were not from Europe? I could show you all the testimonies throughout our exile that we are not European like you claim. You're going to end up looking stupid. That's why you keep muting me. So if you're going to let me speak. I will prove to you how stupid you just sounded, because I'm going to prove it to you throughout the centuries that we were not from Europe. Europe was not our friend. But you won't let me do that. And they know why. And they're trying to act. If they're going to think that you're actually doing something here.
Go ahead, prove it. Go ahead, man. I'm muted. Go ahead.
All right. Can you hear me? Can they hear me? All right. Ignatius, Bishop of Antioch, year 98 to 117. Again, can you hear me or not?
You cut out. What'd you say?
No, you muted me.
I didn't mute you.
No, I keep seeing the button. You're playing games. I see you pushing the button over and over.
Just go ahead.
No. I want the people to know what's going on here. They keep on muting me again. They're muting me.
How did I mute? When did you mute?
I didn't push anything. No, you're muting. You're muting.
We're not muting you.
Yeah, you are. I'm not pushing a button. You're muting me. I know why.
Just go, man, please.
I'm trying to go, but you keep muting me over and over. And I know why you're doing that. Because you don't want me to read this, because I'm about to make you look stupid. Here we go. Again, you do it.
Yo, we sitting here with our hands up. He's talking about, listen, go ahead and say what you say. We're going to let everybody see it. All of our hands is up.
Okay. And it just went on mute again.
He just said we're muting him, and all of our hands is up. Y'all see, the devil is a liar, man. That's all I can say.
Keep telling yourself.
Right? But we muting you.
I knew you guys were clowns, man. I knew I couldn't take you serious.
What are we
I knew it.
What are we muting? Go ahead. What are we muting?
Nah. You want to play games? That's fine with me.
Come on, man. What are we muting?
The real people that have intelligence can look at the sources that I provide in my videos, the scriptures, everything. The historical is I post it so everyone can see it. So anybody who's listening to this, I just want you to know that they're the ones playing games on me, will not let me present my evidence. I present it in my videos, and I'm trying to present it here. They will not let me. They're just screaming and yelling. So
that we're not muting anything.
No. Yeah, you are. Well, somebody behind you. I keep hearing people talking behind you.
What am I muting?
You think you calling us devils is anything new to us? You think calling us devils is anything new to us? We've been hearing that for 2,000 years. We ain't affected by that.
You should always be hearing that because you are the damn devil, all right? Duh.
Yeah, okay.
What the hell?
I guess you never read Isaiah 45, verse 5 through 7, I bet.
Ooh-wee. I guess you never read the whole Bible because you couldn't fit yourself in any of it. So we can fit ourselves in all of it. So that's hilarious.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Can you fit it? Can you fit in the whole chapter of Isaiah 2?
About nothing but a proud.
And how are you a light to the nations? You know about that, don't you? Light to the nations. Huh? You ever heard of that term in the Torah?
Huh? You said what?
Light to the nations. You know what that means?
How am I light? I'm going to show you how I'm a light to the nations. After I civilize
when you curse the nations
back and give you some damn sense, then I'm going to be a light to you. Then I'm going to teach you how to not be so filthy and disgusted. And if I can't, you will be eliminated. That's how I'm going to be a light to the nations, man.
That's not what the scripture says. That's not the scripture, though.
How are you a light to the niggers? How are you a light to the niggers when all you do is talk bad about how we're not the Israelites and how we're so damn crazy and uneducated, right? But you're supposed to be a light to the nation.
Your sects of your so-called claims of being the Israelites teaching the opposite of what an Israelite is supposed to be teaching. That's why I'm speaking about your sects. That's who I'm talking about.
Right? Were you born a Karaite Jew?
Again, muting me. Again, they muted me.
Nobody muted you. Are you born a Karaite Jew?
Why are you asking me this?
I'm just asking you. Were you born a Karaite?
Why are you asking? Were you born a Hebrew Israelite?
I was born a Roman Catholic. It's so much you must know. Were you born a Karaite Jew?
Why are you asking me that?
I just answered you.
How do we go from proving someone's Israel to ask if I was born a Karaite Jew?
Man, listen. Were you born a Karaite Jew? That's all I want to know.
No, I was not.
Were you raised a Karaite Jew?
I was not. No.
What were you raised, for the record?
I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness.
Okay. All right.
And yeah.
Okay.
And I did my DNA and I joined charism many years ago. So.
Oh, because you discovered that your DNA went back to the Jews?
Our lineage, yeah.
Okay. A quick question. How are DNA tests conducted? Do you know the science of that?
I don't know the science of it, but I know minor detail. What are we going into now?
I mean, because you just based a life-changing decision off of a test that you don't.
No, I did not say I based a life-changing decision over that. That wasn't the reason.
You just said after you did your DNA, you joined Karaitism because you found out that your lineage went back to Jew.
No, that's not what I said or meant. No.
You said.
I left the Jehovah's Witness sect when I was about 18 years old because I found out what they believed in, what they taught was falsehood. And I always followed the Hebrew Scriptures. I always believed in the Hebrew Scriptures. And I found out that they were a cult. And then I started learning the ways of forefathers. So
a DNA test didn't influence that whatsoever?
No, just verified who I was and where I came from and verified through lineage and things like that. So what are you going?
How did you find out you had Jewish lineage?
From it tells you your haplogroup. That's how you find out. It tells you where the origins were, your people, and going on. Okay. So where are you going with this again?
I mean, where I'm going with it is I'm going to disqualify the science. That's where I'm going with it.
Disqualify the science. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I can't. How many Jewish people are in the world?
I don't know the exact number. Between 11 to 14 million.
Okay, in between 11 to 14 million, right? Now, do you know that they predicate those DNA test results on testing less than 155 people per haplogroup, right?
I'd have to check the records for that. I don't know what. You're claiming that. I can go look it up and find out.
I listen. I just did the research. Go and do the research.
People are doing their DNA on television. African Americans.
People are doing their DNA on television, and it's based off of 155 people per haplogroup out of the tens of millions of people.
So you're telling me, okay?
Out of any people. So to base anything off of that is asinine and unscientifical and a wish at that.
Not if you trace your actual family.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
you can look, for example, you can go.
Tell me about your family. Who is your family? Let me look your family up to verify that you are a Jew or you in fact are a Yid.
Are you gonna let me finish what I was saying?
Go ahead.
I'll give you the information. I don't know what we're going way off the page here again. Like we're talking about. You go online, you could see.
It's proving you's a Jew. That's the page. So ain't nobody go off the page.
No. We did go off the page because we agreed on is 20 minutes that you guys would run your mouth talking about that we're the fake Jews and you're the real Jews, and I would speak for 20 minutes without you interrupting, and back and forth. And at the end, we would do the questions. That's what we agreed on. And you guys did not keep your word again.
We just run our mouth.
You did not keep to the agreement. That's what I want them to know. I want them to know, the people watching, because they're going to say that I murdered and all this stuff. I don't care. I'm letting you know that they are not keeping to their agreement. They're not men of their words.
There's somebody.
No, they're not going to say. They're not going to say that. Yeah, not letting me speak. Not letting me speak. And just, I knew you guys were going to be a waste of time to talk to because you don't want to talk reason. You acted like you did want to talk, like you were respectable, that we could talk about things.
Can I
seriously? I almost had respect for you guys, and now I lost that.
Let me interject. I haven't really said anything. What we're seeing and what we're hearing is just we're seeing you tap dancing. I mean, I didn't know.
Tap dancing?
I didn't know. I don't know any Jewish man that can dance as good as you do. I'll tell you that straight up. But
I'll tell the people. Hold on.
All I wanted initially before you went into your presentation was one prophecy that substantiated the 1948 event. I'm being peaceful. I'm being patient, and you have not given that proof.
I did present the proof of the land, and then you guys went off the page asking other questions, going
I
off
don't
the
know-
page.
I don't
That's
wanna
not
know-
you. The people can
I don't
watch
wanna
this for
know how
themselves and
fruitful the
see
land
what
is.
happened. So
I don't want to know how fruitful the land is. I don't want to know anything but pinpoint accuracy in which
that's part of
prophecy-
1948. So I don't know why you're not wanting to hear that part.
Okay,
So,
okay.
So why
interesting.
did the Messiah bring y'all back to the land? Why did all these white countries, European countries, bring you back?
I was about to show you, but you cut me off again. Isaiah
Oh, go ahead,
59,
go ahead
verse
then.
20.
Get down. Get down.
Are you going to read it or not?
What was
Can
it?
you read it? How about you read it? So we can just shut up and let you talk. So we've been running our mouths so damn much, right?
A redeemer will come to Zion. That is the Messiah. To Zion, to those in Jacob who turn from their sins. To Zion. The redeemer will come to Zion. There's many passages that speak about the Messiah coming to Israel, not from Zion. So that's one right there, one proof right there. The Messiah is going to go to Israel, to the righteous of. Excuse me?
So the Messiah is the Balfour Declaration.
No, the Messiah is the Messiah.
Okay, so
I can quote more messianic. If you want to go down the messianic way, I could show you many passages about when the Messiah comes. It will be the whole world will be transformed when he comes.
But
That did not
19
happen 2,000 years ago.
Okay, what happened in 1948? Where was the Messiah in 1948? That's what we're asking you.
That's not what you asked me. You just asked me why didn't the Messiah bring you? Why didn't not the Messiah take you to Egypt, to Israel? That's what you just asked me, and I answered it. Now you're going to 1948.
Exactly.
So what are you doing?
That's the purpose of me asking.
I already said it over and over that we're waiting for the Messianic age.
Balfour is the Messiah.
Oh my God. See the games they're playing? I hope everybody's listening to this. I was very clear that the Messianic age is yet to come. When the Messiah will come to, again, they muted me again. Again, they muted me.
So I want to understand. Everybody can hear you. So I don't know when we muted you, when you talked and everybody heard you. Whatever.
Yeah, sure.
I just want to understand.
Sure they did.
1948. What happened then? Where is it at in Scripture? Why did not the Messiah bring that in? Why did other nations bring that in?
I just showed you that the Messiah will come to Israel.
Yeah, he's gonna come.
We can go to Isaiah chapter 2. You'll see what's supposed to happen in the Messianic age. World changes when he comes. The temple is supposed to be rebuilt. Lots of things are supposed to happen. That's the opposite of what you believe completely, because you claim that Jesus. Oh, yes, it is. Because you believe that Jesus came to destroy the temple. Do you not?
No,
right?
First off, what are you talking about? You don't know So the nerve of you to make an asinine statement like that.
I'm not making an asinine statement.
It is an asinine statement.
No, it's not asinine. You don't believe that Jesus predicted the destruction of the temple? You telling me you don't believe that?
First off, of course I do.
That's what I'm talking about. So why are you saying it's an asinine statement?
Listen. I'm gonna put this into a way that you can understand. All right.
I am understanding you. Oh my God.
Show me your pale white ass getting brought to Israel in 1948 in the Bible. Show it to me.
Right.
I beg you to show it to me, please.
Let me say this. With this Bible, we can prove we went on ships. We can prove that we're over here in the Americas. We can prove everything that the Black and Hispanics are going through in this Bible. You cannot.
So you just said you could prove that you just said something amazing. You just said that you could prove that you were taken in ships through the Bible. But you can't prove that through the Bible. You have to show from historical sources, which you claim is the Atlantic slave trade. But I could show you proof that we fulfill this way more accurately than you do. 100% more accurately than you do.
Here's what I've already showed you.
And I've already showed you.
Hold on, wait. Here's what we've already showed you.
Here we go again.
Deuteronomy 28 and 46. Deuteronomy 28 and 46 substantiates the cyclic nature of the curses of Deuteronomy 28. So it don't just happen one time. period. It don't just happen one time. It happens whenever the Jews are in sin on a cycle. You can't show me any of these curses affecting any one of you devils. You can't show it.
I can show it. I can show it. We both agree on Babylon, and I'm trying to show you in the year 70, there's the second one.
You have not proved that was you in Babylon. I need you again. I'm talking about you.
Now we're going to Babylon again.
Would turn red. Your people. Prove me that your people were the ones that went through that. Because if you ask me, y'all wouldn't have lasted through that. Y'all wouldn't have made it through that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you want to just, I mean, we're not getting anywhere with this at all. Like, hey, you want me to prove 70 seat? No, that's not what's happening.
Josephus.
You're just showing off in front of these people and not letting me speak.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead. Prove you guys went on ships to Egypt.
didn't you just say that you guys believe in the year 70?
Yeah.
So why are you asking me to prove it then if you already know about it?
I want you to prove it.
You want me to prove it. But you just said that you know about the year 70. It's no roadblock for you. But yet you want me to prove it. That's funny.
Yeah, we know about it, and you weren't there. All I'm saying is, and if you were there, you were a perpetrator.
Yeah, sure. I could show you that we weren't. That your Europe lie is a bunch of baloney based on the evidence. But again, you won't let me show that.
Oh, wait. What? Huh?
Are you
Your
mentioning-
Europe?
Are you calling us swine?
Did I say that? No, I did not say that.
You said bologna. That's made out of pork.
No, it's not. Not if you're doing kosher bologna. What are you talking about?
Okay. Yeah, I'll take turkey bologna. Okay. I'll take Hebrew natural.
So would we. Long before you did.
Okay, just prove for me. Let's get on topic. We probably got a short time. I just want you to show me your people going on slave ships.
All right. All right, here we go. This is from the War of the Jews from Josephus. This is one of the texts here.
Hold on. He's not.
Fulfilled under Titus, when multiples of them were carried thither and sold for slaves with ships, 3 large vessels. Let me see. God miraculously drying up the sea before them, a time which now they would not occasionally sadly to remember. Let me see here. Get the next pass here. Let me get the actual quote here. Bear with me here. Saint Jerome says, after the last overthrow by Adrian, and many thousands of them were sold as slaves, and those who could not be sold, the majority of them were transported to Egypt and perished by shipwreck or famine or were massacred by the Romans.
Stop. Hold on. You see that? You put your foot in your mouth. Now, you proved that the Jews went on ships in 70 AD, but you said that they all perished and were massacred before they even got to Egypt. Read that again.
And they weren't sold. It said those that couldn't be sold were transported to Egypt and died in shipwreck. So that isn't what Deuteronomy 28:68 says. So how can that be a fulfillment of it?
Yeah, read that again. Read that last quote again. We'll take that from now on.
No. It's what it said. We're transported to Egypt and perished by shipwreck or famine. It says right here, many thousands of them, listen carefully, again, context. You guys choose to pick what you want. Many thousands of them, not all of them. And those who could not be sold were transported into Egypt and perished by shipwreck or famine or were massacred by the inhabitants. But it goes on to say, there were many captives offered for sale. I'm finishing here. Let me finish. From these ships, but few buyers, because the Romans disdained to taking Jews, so did the Egyptians.
Majority of them died.
So we're talking about the majority of them died and they didn't make it. They didn't make it. They weren't sold. So then how is that a fulfillment of Deuteronomy 28:68?
But there's more. I could read more. There's a lot more details to what happened to many of them.
But can you cite
This
that
is just
source?
3.
Can you cite that last source for me so we can use that when we
For the audience.
have to slaughter another rabbi?
Yeah, try. Slaughter another rabbi. That's
For the next
hilarious.
guy, gotta get
Yeah,
back.
sure. Slaughter another rabbi. Yeah, real cute. You don't even know what I'm reading. You don't know Josephus' writings. You don't know any of the ancient writings of the time. Yeah.
I mean, for the record, we have the whole Josephus here on the digitally on this tablet. It's pulled up.
You have War of the Jews.
War
Well, then why are you asking me what it says? Why are you asking me about it then? If you know about it.
Everybody that's
Decided for everybody.
It's
that's
all
watching.
there in War of the Jews. War of the Jews.
There was a couple thousand Jews, and majority of them didn't make it. And you're telling me that's a fulfillment of one of the biggest prophecies in the Bible?
Can I show you something? I just want to show. I just want to show everybody that's watching, because he says we don't know it, right?
It's too bright.
It's too bright.
Wait,
with
let me see
in the
if I can
webcam, with the
turn it- let me see if I
webcam.
can turn it down. Can you see it? Okay.
Well, if you know it so well, then why are you asking me about it?
Damn.
You're asking me how do we fulfill that?
And we asked you about it on purpose so you can put your foot in your mouth, as we've been asking you every other.
How did I
question
put my
this
foot in
whole
my mouth? How did I put my foot in my mouth?
Hey, Pele, we've been looking this up the whole time. We knew you were gonna pull it. How about that?
time.
All right, it's cool.
Yeah, sure.
So now,
Are you gonna let me? Are you gonna let me prove that we were taken? That we were not part of Europe? Are you gonna let me prove that or no? Or is
Did
the
you-
time up?
Did y'all
Because your
live in
game
Europe?
playing.
Did y'all live in Europe?
Do you want me to quote what I'm going to quote or not? I'm trying to prove it. You won't let me.
Go ahead. My fault. Go ahead.
Some of us did, not all of us. Let's see how much Europe loved us. Again, you call us a massacre. It's not. Ignatius, Bishop of Antioch, 98. When do you guys say that we popped up out of Europe conversion? When do you guys say that we so-called converted? Your Khazarian bullcrap that you pulled.
I would
What year was that?
in the 7th and 8th century, but
7th
I
and
mean-
8th century, right?
yeah, because there were definitely
And why is that?
actual Jews in Europe. They were there.
Oh, now it's
so-
different Jews. Okay. I thought it was all of us.
No, not different. Real, actual. You have real and you have fake. Real
Okay.
was there.
So now you're there in Europe. So now I'm quoting the proof. I'm going to quote the proof. Now you're going to say that this is you. Okay. Ignatius, Bishop of Antioch. For if we are still, this is in the 1st century, by the way, the century where Jesus was murdered in the year 30. For if we are still practicing Judaism, we admit that we have not received God's favor. It is wrong to talk about Jesus Christ and live like Jews, for Christianity did not believe in Judaism, but Judaism in Christianity. That's in the
What's
1st
your source?
century.
What's your source?
This is Ignatius, Bishop of Antioch. All you got to do is look up the Church Fathers' anti-Semitism in the Middle Ages, and you'll find stuff from the 1st century all the way through.
Well, first,
Hey, you know Ignatius, he believes that Sunday is the Sabbath, right?
Yeah, he's part of the
Have
Catholic
flawed
Church.
stores. Okay, but
I'm
how
trying to
gonna
show
use
you that,
flawed
I'm trying to show you that these were the enemies of the Jews,
Well, he believes in
showing
the
that
virgin
we
birth.
were there.
also, hold on. According to what you call Greek pagan scriptures, all quote unquote early church fathers and their sources are disqualified as holding any weight, according to the New Testament.
The Greek scriptures, yeah, but I'm trying to quote historical evidence here that we were in Europe and Europe was not our friend and we were not. This is what they. I mean, I'm going to cite several sources if you'll let me finish.
They're proving that Jews were in Europe. You are those people. That's what you haven't proved, and that's what we're asking you to prove. We don't
Okay, here we
dispute
go.
any of the history of the Israelites. We dispute you being those people.
Okay,
We
We
was
know-
in Europe.
okay. Justin Martyr. The custom of circumcision of the flesh handed down from Abraham was given to you as a distinguishing mark to set you off from other nations and from us Christians. The purpose of this was that you and only you might suffer the afflictions that are now justly yours, that only your land be desolated and your cities ruined by fire, that the fruits of your land be eaten by strangers before your very eyes, that not one of you be permitted to enter your city of Jerusalem. Your circumcision of the flesh is the only mark by which you can certainly be distinguished from other men. As I stated before, it was by reason of your sins and the sins of your fathers that among your priests that God imposed you the observance of the Sabbath as a mark. Okay, origin of Alexandria in the year 185 to 254. The Jews will not return, not the Hebrew Israelites, the Jews.
Quick question. Where is
What?
Alexandria? Continentally.
In, forget here. There's several sources here.
No. Where is Alexandria continentally? You can use this source, but I'm just asking you, where is it geographically?
I don't have this. I believe it's Europe. It's somewhere in Europe.
Africa. Alexandria is in Africa. For the record, go ahead.
Okay, so were you in Europe or Africa?
Wait,
We were in. Listen, the Jews were in all nations, spread to the
Okay.
four corners of the world.
wait, let me ask you something, Pele. Let me
Okay.
ask you something, man. Where are you going with this?
Where am I going with this? Where am I going with this?
Yeah, where you going with this?
We want to answer counter question.
I want to ask a counter question. Where you going with this?
So by the way, were you guys the assassins of Christ? Is that what they called you? When you
Yeah,
have
some of-
the
some
book,
of
you
us
have
did
the
assassinate
book,
Christ.
you have the books about Jesus Christ, or who you call Yeshua, or how you call him. So it's saying here, I'm about to quote that they're saying you don't believe in Jesus. So how could this be you? How could this be you? Again, I'll state it again.
Let me ask you a question.
It's stating
Where
that
you
we
going
don't
with this?
believe in the Christian scriptures. So therefore, how do you say that this is you when they're saying that they hate us because we don't accept their Christianity and their books and their doctrine of Jesus
What year is
Christ?
that? No, what year is that? What year is the source?
Of different sources here. Let's see.
I need
Well,
the
okay.
circle.
Ignatius, the first one was 98 to 117 AD. It's in the Epistle
what's
to the
this other
Magnesium.
one?
Huh?
What's this other one you're going into about what you were just talking about?
All right, here we go. Here we go. It's John Chrysostom from the year 344 to 407 AD. He's called one of the greatest.
Of course, and according to the prophecy in what you would call the Greek scripture, and as well as the Apocrypha, that is exactly what was going to happen. So, I mean, this doesn't disqualify anything.
So they were calling you devils and said you were in synagogues. Is that what they said about you? You were in synagogues,
Yeah,
even
they
though
said
you
it
call
about-
it synagogue of Satan.
Hey,
You call your place.
said that
You
about-
call your. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, is that not
You
realistic?
guys are hilarious, man. Hilarious.
about other
What you
white
guys are
people.
trying to pull.
What am I
I just
trying
think
to
it's
pull?
hilarious what you're trying to do.
Let me ask you
You
something.
guys, because
Racially-
you guys keep
What-
saying synagogue of Satan, and these church fathers are saying that we don't accept the Christian Bible and that we worship in the synagogues. You don't worship in a synagogue, do you? Did you
No,
ever?
And guess what? In Judaism and whatever was being practiced in 344 in anywhere damn near in the world was wrong. So what does that have to do with you proving that your jolly white ass is an Israelite?
Because this was us. We were there doing this. We're the ones who went through this. You ever heard of the Crusades? You mean to tell me that was you? You even? I mean, are
No,
you
let me
serious? You cannot be seriously saying that this is you.
Pele, Pele,
I don't-
who are the Edomites? Who are the Edomites? Who are the Edomites today?
I'm not answering that question. Let's get back on the subject again. You guys are dancing. Either you guys are dancing around again. You guys are dancing around again. How do we go from speaking about who the real Jews are in the Middle Ages to that? See, that's why you see these people that are watching. I'm glad they're watching and listening because they're
plays a major part.
openly playing games. You guys were never known synagogues. You never rejected Jesus Christ. You have Jesus Christ in your books. You believe in those books. So why would the church be saying you reject Jesus? You don't reject Jesus. That's obvious. So it makes no sense how you're going to say that this is you. Are you still there or you cut me off?
My Chrome that just quit, so I hope we could be joined back by the rabbi. We've been giving him so much heat. Just allow me. I gotta get this hoodie. Hold on.
Is it a new link?
No, it's not. It's the same.
Yeah, they're still on. But it doesn't say it's live anymore.
Sure. Just give it a second to catch up.
Well, no, usually it has like that red light on.
Huh?
Oh, yeah, it is.
What? Yeah, so y'all give us a number one if Pele got cooked. I need to see that chat box light up. 1, 2 if we got cooked. 3 if we cooked him well done. If we charboiled him. And hopefully he come back. I ain't done yet.
That's what Jesus was like.
What's up? 1, 2. All right, shout out to all the 2s out there. Much love to all the deuces out there.
Oh. Right now, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2.
All right.
1 and 2.
All right. Go ahead.
Bro, it's 3s. Baby 3 out the game. 1. My baby just 3 to 2.
Trays. That's great. That's great. All right. 3, because it represents understanding, y'all, in the scriptures. Okay.
Look at your boy.
Where is he at?
That's your boy.
Ooh.
He's working.
No, don't worry about it.
He didn't know. He didn't listen. Pagayala, you put 2 in there. Pagayala Sakari, you put 2. That means you thought the Edomite won.
I'm with Pagai 2. 2. Where's he at? What's up, man? He coming back? Hit him up, man. See if he's coming back, man. I ain't done with him yet. This is fun, man.
So Pele ass dude, man. Dude over Pele.
Give me Exodus 17 and 16.
Well, let's keep it rolling.
Which is right after Exodus 17, 15, our scripture. This scripture right here. Okay.
Exodus 17, 17.
17, 16.
The book of Exodus, chapter 17, verse 16.
Uh-huh.
For he said, because the Lord hath sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation.
That's right. And that's what you're going to understand. Yahweh got war with Amalek. So we waging war against Amalek. That's period, point blank. Matter of fact, start at 15. And this is why it's so powerful that we going in this spirit of power.
Exodus 17, 15.
Uh-huh.
And Moses built an altar and called the name of it
Yahweh Nashah in the Hebrew. Yahweh Nashah. That's what y'all see right here on this Sakari banner. Yahweh Nashah, meaning Yahweh the Most High, Nas, banner, Yah making it possessive. Yahweh is my banner. That's what that means right there. All right. So he built this altar, and that altar was built to symbolize what? Keep going to the next verse.
For he said, because the Lord hath sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation
he
to generation.
Built this to symbolize the war against Amalek. So it's only right that we are waging war against Amalek by Shema Mashiach Yahushua right now. Exactly as commanded right there, going back to the Torah and Exodus with our forefather Moses, a strong and powerful Levite, might I add, brought out, man. You see what I'm saying? Built this altar for the Most High, and we doing it in the same fashion, spirit and power, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, waging war with Amalek as the Most High. He said from generation to generation, he's going to war against these pale, pasty rat bastards, man. All right, all of them. All right, our brothers, our elders that just went over there to the land, they said they have never, and nowhere in America have they experienced the racism that they experienced from them Jewish bastards in that land and the Ethiopians in that land. So it's only right. Who we people right now? Mainly the Jewish and them damn Cushites right now.
Every week, man.
You see what I'm saying? So we at war. Give me Numbers 24 and 20 real quick, Bubba, from Shah.
21.
24 and 20.
Numbers chapter 24, verse 20. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable.
He took up this parable. We looked at this damn devil. We take up this parable. Read.
And said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter
He's
end.
the richest of the nations. Is Amalek the first of the nations? No, he wasn't the firstborn of the nations, but he's the first of the nations because of the great riches that he's been able to obtain, and that's true this very day. He said Amalek is the first of the nations. Read.
But his latter end shall be that he perish forever. Extermination.
Man, that Bible is cold. The Most High hates a damn Jewish bastard, man. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That's according to the book. I believe that that's evident at this point. What's that? He's coming back. He's done.
Nah, I don't think he's coming back.
Expect 1,000 videos on the YouTube, bro. He put up a lot of videos. He's putting up, re-uploading the same video and just changing the title. Sakari DNA debunked, and he ain't going into nothing we talked about. This guy is a damn joke. Y'all see what happened? He talked all that. To finish off, give me Exodus 11 and 7 real quick. Finish off against this damn devil. All right, this ain't of us. This is of Yahweh, man. You played around with the real Jews. You said what? Okay, go ahead.
Exodus 11 and 7. But against any children of Israel,
you got on the damn YouTube and you spoke against the children of Israel. Read.
Shall not a dog move his tongue?
You damn dog. You move your tongue against us. Guess what's gonna happen? The Most High gonna have wrath. And this public humiliation is just the beginning. It's just a microcosm to the wrath that the Most High Yahweh is getting ready to unleash on you. All right, that's it on that.
Yeah, come.
Sergeant, what you got?
I'm going to finish about the curses for signs. Talk about how are they a sign.
Yeah, Con, go ahead.
Back in that commentary by John Gill, referring to the curses of Deuteronomy 28. This is going to be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder. That is, those curses before pronounced and what follow should rest and remain upon them, continue with them, and be very visible on them.
And be very visible. You have yet, everybody saw it. He did not substantiate how these curses were visibly on his people in the least bit. Go ahead.
So as to be observed by others as a sign of the wrath and the displeasure of God, and of the fulfillment of prophecy, and of the truth of divine revelation. And so for a wonder, as it is most astonishing to observe how exactly all the curses threaten them have fallen upon them and have abode with them, as they did in their former captivities, and more especially do in the present one. And what is the greater wonder, that notwithstanding these dreadful calamities and so long continued, enough to have crushed any people from being a people.
Ooh, you see that? You wouldn't have made it. Go ahead.
Yet they have continued.
Yet all the hell that whoever the Israelites are. Oh, somebody whipped that up quick. Busting a move.
The rabbi tap dancing.
All right. And don't worry, the Jewish man will learn to tap dance in the kingdom of heaven. Trust and believe you me. And it will be death if he can't. Go ahead.
Let me say this real quick. Whoever the turncoat trader you are, some African American, that the rabbi called me and said there was some African American ex-Hebrew Israelite, I'm guessing, who wanted to come on the show to help the rabbi in his defense. A coon turncoat. You a hoe, man. I'm just gonna say it straight up. You a hoe. And you got Exodus 1715 @gmail.com. Hit us up and get your ass on the hot seat.
Yeah, why don't you come in?
Yeah.
Get worked out like the white boy. All right? Worked out like Massa did, okay? Come avenge Massa, nigga. What's wrong with you? Finish that, Sergeant.
God, notwithstanding these dreadful calamities and so long continue, enough to have crushed any people from being a people.
Read.
Yet they have continued and still do continue, a distinct people.
We are distinct. Whoever the Israelites are have to be a distinct people. Read.
Which is a standing miracle.
And it's a standing miracle that there's a people that can exist that went through all of this damn hell, but they still are existing. They still are thriving. They're still alive. How is it possible? Finish it.
And one would think sufficient to convince the most hardened and obstinate deists of the truth and authority of the sacred scriptures is in which stand so many glaring prophecies that have been fulfilled and are continually fulfilling in this people.
Hold on, that have been fulfilled and are continually fulfilling. Not just seven. This is their scapegoat. Everything that happened to us bad, they just say it already happened in 70 AD. It already happened in Babylon. Nothing's happening now. Show me the Holocaust, your alleged Holocaust in the Bible. Where's the biblical description of what allegedly occurred in the Holocaust? Right. Can anybody show it to me? We know these, we know this book. If it was in there, we would have found it. All right. And guess what? Were we Holocausted? Were we burnt alive by the white man? Yes, we were.
Even Deuteronomy 30 speaks about us, calling to mind who we were in during the time of our captivity. If you guys have known this forever and ever,
why would you call it to mind?
Well, the whole point of calling it to mind.
That's so Lord's will, we're gonna do a follow-up and kind of segment both of these live streams and kind of show you guys why we was asking them the questions on the first debate about the land of the north, because the land of the north, if they say it's ancient Babylon, both kingdoms weren't there. If they say it's Europe, both kingdoms weren't there. So we know that the spiritual Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, is America, where both kingdoms are at today, being our Hispanics and Native Americans with the Negroes, Israelites being oppressed together.
That's right.
So Lord's will cut out all his answers and kind of cut them up and give edification on both of the live streams.
That's right.
I think this one went fairly well.
Then we wrap things up pretty well.
Wrap things up pretty well. I don't think there needs to be any expounding on this debate, but for the last debate, all the prophecies we'll bring out.
The last debate we played a game. Okay, everybody's seen it. We were playing a game. We was walking them down the plank, and we were getting him to basically disqualify himself from being a Jew, and it went on a little longer. So we was gonna bring it home the same way we did today, but because it went a little longer, we said that we're gonna be patient now. We're gonna leave him on the hook, and Yahweh was gonna feed him to us because it was His will. It was clear that it was His will. All right, so it's powerful, and we give all praises to the Abanawa Yahweh, and we do so by Hashem Hamashiach Yahushua and say Shalom.
Shalom.